Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Colonel Steve here, and we are on spring break, and this is a fun one because it's Gail the Snail, so she's the announcer for this one, and those shows are always funny, always end up going off track at some point. And this one, we just addressed some crazy bourbon rumors. Enjoy.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you Monday through Friday every week. Today on the show, we talk about some crazy bourbon rumors. My name is Gail the Snail. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guest, Andrew. Where the f*** did you get Andy Webrink, Delafane, and Luke Otero?
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, so Webrink was just telling us we'll have to do that maybe as a bonus show sometime, and put that on the nightcap where Webrink tells the story of where he got the name Andy, and it's a funny story.
Good story.
Yeah. But for right now, Della, you said that there's something you wanted to talk to the group about. What was that?
I was going to ask, are you or have you watched, what is the show that you have watched that you have been emotionally vested in? And the reason why I'm asking is because I just started watching Vikings, and I was crying off of this scene, and my husband was in the shower, and he came out of the shower and he was like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And I was just crying off of this episode of Vikings. So
Watching TV.
Tissue and all, like drying my eyes and everything. So has there been a show, maybe not that emotionally vested where you started crying, but that you were invested into the characters and the plot and the show?
There's one that I wasn't me personally, but the warden. So she got into the show Dexter. We watched it together. I like that show. It was a good show.
I love that show.
Yeah. But the one where his wife got killed, she just starts crying on that thing, like uncontrollably. And it was wild. I was like, wow, you talk about emotionally invested. So yeah, that was one for her for sure. So yeah. Anybody else? Webrink, you want to admit you cried on something?
What?
You want to admit you cried on a show? Be honest. Go on.
I didn't cry on a show.
Okay. Well, is there a show that you've been emotionally invested in? Is the question.
Emotionally invested in?
Yeah.
That caused you to cry.
Yeah.
Not cry, but just to care about the characters and the character development and that kind of thing.
No, I tell you what, though. The closest I've got to crying, I guess it's kind of a show because they were series. But the whole, if you haven't seen Fast and the Furious yet, then, I don't know where you've been at. But
I have, yes.
Yeah, the ending that they sent off Paul Walker, ooh, God.
Yeah.
That hurt a little bit. Yeah, that was kind of sad.
Yeah.
But, as far as show, the shows I've been into are Big Bang Theory and Sopranos. So,
okay.
Yeah.
None of the characters got you on that? There was a lot of people got killed.
Paulie was always my favorite.
Paulie was a classic, wasn't he? He was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. You never got wrapped up in any of those guys. All right. Luke, how about you? Anything you've been emotionally involved in?
The Sopranos, I was a big fan, still am a big fan. I was trying to think if there was a scene that got me emotional, and it actually there was, and it's towards the end, and when Tony is asking his uncle June, he goes, "Don't you love me?" And fast forward to the Sopranos were going around last year. The cast was going around talking about scenes that were emotional. They brought up that one particular scene that brought everyone to tears. It definitely gave me a moment of pause. So I guess The Sopranos is about the closest thing right now. That one particular episode, that one scene.
That one scene got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Gail, anything for you?
Mine's kind of dumb, but it's certain scenes. The Office, which is a comedy, like certain scenes, like when they kind of go back and before people turn douchey, like Jim and Pam turned evil, like horrible people.
I love The Office.
Like Pam turned to a bitch, and that made me mad, and turned to an asshole. And then the last thing that made me cry maybe was the new trailer for Star Wars. What was it, Rise of Skywalker? That made me cry like a baby.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I'll have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, it's funny. I've never seen one episode of The Office. Never. Not-
Really?
Yeah.
Never.
I haven't either, but yeah.
For some reason, people always ask me to do favors. So instead of responding back, what I do is I send them that YouTube clip of Steve Carell just yelling no.
No.
So that's the only part I know about The Office is that no.
And that's an excellent response, so it's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't heard from you in 3 years. How dare you ask me for a favor?
All right. Well, what we do next is we do a little bit of drinking on the show. So what is everyone drinking? Let's start with Gail. Gail, we'll start with you this time.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Our reigning champ.
I'm going to do the Belle Meade, the sherry.
Okay.
Bourbon.
Sherry
It's
cask
tasty.
finish, yeah.
It's pretty good. All right. You ready?
Yep. Okay. That's pretty good. All right. Weebrink, how about you?
I'm disqualified because I am drinking a screw top, but actually I am drinking Jim Beam Black, the 8-year-old.
Okay.
Very nice.
All right. Excellent. Luke, what do you got?
I've got tonight some Noah's Mill.
Okay.
Here we go.
No,
Nope.
not really. No, Gail's still our leader. Della, Gail is our leader. Can you beat what she had there?
I cannot. She will still be the leader. I have what you called a bourbon we should cherish. Very old Barton.
Very old Barton. Nice.
Ooh.
Screw top,
nice.
though. There's a screw
With the
top.
screw top,
That's a
so
value
yes,
leader.
no.
Yeah. All right. I've got the Evan Williams Masters blend here. So here we go. Cork pop.
I
See what we
love
got.
that stuff.
Oh, I forgot. This is a screw top too. That means Gail, you win. I forgot.
Oh,
I haven't opened this one in a while. It's
Way to go, Gail.
Gail wins. Yeah. Yeah. Well, cheers, gang.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, when we get back, we're going to have some fun. We've got some bourbon rumors. We're going to talk about, has everybody heard these and what do they think of them? Do we think they're true? We'll get to those in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of Executive Bourbon Steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your Executive Bourbon Steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your Executive Bourbon Steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
Hello, this is Jeff, Iowa's newest bourbon fan, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. On today's show, we are still talking about some crazy ass bourbon rumors, you guys.
Yes, we are. So I've got 3 rumors here. These are all 3 things that I've actually heard. So we're gonna talk about each. We'll go individually here. So rumor number 1. 3 ghosts haunt the Whiskey Row area of Louisville. Number 1, General Nelson, a Union general during the Civil War who was killed at the Galt House by a subordinate officer. Number 2, a distillery worker named Willie who was supposedly killed when he was run over by a runaway barrel. And number 3, a nun who was supposedly killed during a fire at the Galt House in 1865. Have you guys heard about the ghosts of Whiskey Row?
I have. And all 3 of those are true.
Have you any experience with any of these, Luke?
Well, the General Nelson, me being a history buff, that was Jefferson Davis actually shot him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that one, as far as the Willie,
the runaway barrel guy,
runaway barrel. I believe in anything after so many glasses of bourbon. and that goes for the nun too. The Galt House has a very lively history, so
yeah,
I wouldn't put it past anything there, Steve.
Okay, and I guess it goes back a long time. I didn't realize it went back that far. 1865 was that fire, where the nun was, and obviously Civil War killed at the Galt House by Robert E. Lee, you're saying, so I didn't know that. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So, Andrew, you're in Louisville. Do you hear about these stories, and have you had anybody that has had a firsthand account, even if you haven't?
No.
Okay. have you heard the stories?
Short and sweet.
Okay.
No.
I don't think we're going to get anything else on it. Miguel, what do you think about some ghost stories? You into that?
I love me some ghost stories.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So are you prone to believe this one?
Totally.
Della, you too? You're a little bit into ghost stories, right?
I'm going to say that I used to not believe in ghosts. I believe in a lot of things. I believe in aliens, but ghosts were always something that I was like, no. But after moving to here to Arizona, in our first place that we lived in, when we lived in West Phoenix, I actually caught a ghost on film. Yeah, in my closet. I'll show you I sent it to Bourbon Ghost Story. I sent it to them and she was like, she was freaking out about the picture. But yes, I caught one on film. And just recently, like 3 nights ago, don't think I'm crazy because this really happened. I woke up. I was woke up by pressure on our bed, and it was like it wasn't like someone sat on the bed. It was like someone put their hand on the bed and pressed down. And we have 2 cats, so I sort of lifted my head to look and see if it was one of them that jumped in the bed, but it wasn't. And then just like I felt the pressure go down on the bed, I felt the pressure lift up off of the bed.
Nice.
Oh.
No.
And this was about a week ago. And I got up that morning and I just I just burned some Palo Santo and some sage or whatever. I'm not afraid. I wasn't afraid because I've got 2 cats and I know that spirits and cats, But I'm serious. So I totally believe that. I believe all that.
Okay.
I just don't understand it. I mean, if you're a ghost, you can float around anywhere you want to go. I mean, why hunt people?
Because sometimes it could be someone that you knew that passed on and just wants to check in on you or whatever. I'm telling you, I could tell you, if you told me like you had an alien experience, I would be like, yeah, I believe that. But if you said you were visited by a past relative or whatever, I would be like, yeah, that's bullshit. I did not believe that until I caught that one on camera. And then just a week ago, like seriously, something pressed down on my bed. And so, yeah. So
I guess it kind of makes sense now. I mean, if it was my mom, well, I haven't seen anybody. My mom, she'd be at bingo, and the rest of my relatives, they'd be at the bar.
Yeah, it could be somebody that just wants to check in on you and make sure you're okay. So, whatever. Yeah, I believe.
Why they gotta be so creepy for?
Right?
Leave a freaking note.
All right, our second one. Here's rumor number 2. So listen to this one. A large Kentucky bourbon distillery was getting work done on the inside of its still. After repairs, the team was amazed at the whiskey coming off of the still. Fast forward months or perhaps years later, depending on who's telling you the story, and an employee finds a wrench left behind by the worker back when they were repairing the still. Instinctively, he grabs it to remove it, but the master distiller chastises him and tells him to put it back. You never change anything when you're making good whiskey, the master distiller notes. Supposedly, to this day, that wrench is still inside of that still because they're making great whiskey with a wrench inside of their still.
I don't want that rusty wrench.
Could that be possible? This is just crazy, right? This one's not even true, right? There's no way.
I don't know.
Because if you see a wrench someplace, what's the first thing you're going to do?
You're going to grab it.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
You're going to grab it, and then you're going to tell people later on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how rust affects things. I don't know.
Yeah, you think?
I hope it's not there.
I hope it's not there. I hope this one's just a rumor. It's one of those funny things that someone tells a story and then it's good enough where people pass it along, and then it gets passed along so much it almost becomes kind of true. People start believing it. So yeah, but that's supposedly out there. I don't know. I
like the story. I like the sound of the story, but I hope it's not true.
I hope it's not true either. Yeah. I do have a friend who used to work on cars, and his big thing was he doesn't change the oil. Then this was a guy, a big-time car guy. He was like, why would you change the oil? You just top off if you need it, if it's an older car and it's burning some oil, but never change the oil because nothing's wrong with it. It's the car's running, it's working. You can fix it if something breaks, but why would you change? And is that the same type of thing? The whiskey's good.
Let me tell you,
let's keep it going.
I used to have a Volkswagen Beetle, and I had this, I met this guy who was a mechanic. Well, I used to go to this place, this actual mechanic shop, but then the guy who used to be my, prime mechanic quit and started doing his own thing out of his garage at home. And I went to him one day, and he said the same thing to me. He's like, if you change the oil in this German car or whatever, you're going to ruin it. Just top it off, but don't ever change it.
Yeah. Well,
that's crazy, right? And I thought he was crazy too. And then I ended up changing the oil, and then my Beetle was like a piece of shit after that. And I had to get rid of it. But he's told me that he was like, don't ever.
That's why they're leaving that wrench in that still. It. That's why it might be true.
So it might be true.
I agree with Andrew.
It might be true. That's crazy.
There's a wrench there. You're going to pick it up.
You just think you pick it up and then it's gone. So that's it.
I don't want any rusty bourbon, but maybe it might be good.
Yeah.
What does Gail think?
I think people are lazy and leave stuff hanging out all the time. And if they think that maybe that added to it, why change it?
They probably didn't kill anyone, so whatever.
I think it's kind of plausible, maybe.
There is enough there where it could possibly be plausible.
Right.
Someone's like, we're making great whiskey. We can't change anything. We're not going to change the mash bill at all. We're not tweaking anything, including what's inside that still. So I don't know. Maybe there's enough plausible, but I don't know. It seems pretty far-fetched. Very far-fetched, but tiny chance it could be true. All right, rumor number 3. I don't know if anybody's heard this one. Booker No is having a meeting at the distillery, and the team hears a commotion outside. It turns out a tornado went through the closest rickhouse to the distillery, tearing off the walls and damaging the building, but all of the whiskey oddly remained intact on the racks. Have you guys ever heard this one? Weebrink?
I've never heard that one, but let me just... Kentuckians really love to talk about how close they were to the tornado. what it sounded like and all that kind of stuff. We love to get on TV and the radio and describe what the tornado sounded like. So
what does it sound like? A howling wolf?
We always say it sounds like a freight train.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of our go-to.
That's a standard go-to. Okay.
Usually, if there's a tornado warning, if the sirens come on, or if the wind's blowing really hard, a tornado came through. That's just kind of how we take it. So I would say that it was probably just really windy.
Really windy. Now, you are a big-time bourbon fan. You're a historian. Have you ever heard the story of it going through a rickhouse and doing enough damage to blow out the walls, but everything remained intact on the inside? Have you heard anything like that at all, Andrew?
Yeah, well, I mean, E.H. Taylor had a whiskey named after that, which, and those, of course, I'm not really sure what warehouse that was at Buffalo Trace, but I mean, a lot of these warehouses, I mean, they're nothing more than just, I mean, they've got that tin just screwed in with wood screws. I mean, it's not really like it would take a lot to blow off some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that damage gets done, but it would surprise me that if a tornado came through and just blew down a warehouse.
Yeah. I supposedly may be getting some footage of this. Someone has told me that they have footage of this from like a security camera. We'll see if it comes through. I don't know.
Yeah, if there's an actual funnel cloud going through a warehouse, I'd be really surprised.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Now, if there's just like a bunch of wind and then like you see some sheet metal fly off, I'd say that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll ask everyone if they have access to the computer right now, go to the Jim Beam and say fire NATO.
Oh, I've seen that before. Oh shit! There goes my cigar.
Cigar just fell out of his mouth.
Where supposedly a tornado went through, barrels of whiskey went into a pond. The pond was struck by lightning, and then the funnel cloud went over that, and it's a fire tornado.
Wow.
Fire NATO.
I'm watching it right now.
And what do you think, Gail?
I see it.
What happened? How did I get back on my notes?
That makes sense. Like if you what is the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
It is. It's like
the
this
water
fire, and it's like twirling into this. Yeah. I lived in New Orleans for a while, and I was driving across that long bridge, and it's the water that looks like what do you call that? The water that's also a tornado, and it's like
a water spout.
Right? Yeah, that's what this looks like.
Yeah. I think this is more believable than the rumor.
Yeah.
Like that rumor makes me think of the movie Twister, where at the end, spoiler alert, you guys, from a movie from like 96.
Oh, too soon.
Belt that saves them at the end. Kiss my ass. No.
This looks very terrifying.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
That looks like the Ten Commandments episode when there's fire in the Red Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. That looks crazy.
Did you find it, Andrew?
Something's wrong with my screen.
Yeah. Andrew's locked up. Well.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Well, it's interesting talking about rumors. Yeah, so some of these things we don't know if it's true or not. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's fun to find out. If you guys know any of those rumors, again, tell us. We'd love to hear if there's anything else that you've heard that may or may not be true. We'll try to track it down. We'll wrap things up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Luke, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Wait a minute.
Yes.
I've got another rumor, though.
Okay. What do you got?
So did you hear about the guy that, I guess he was a worker at Buffalo Trace, supposedly fell into one of the fermenters and drowned?
Like drowned? I guess
Yeah.
that's right.
No.
And they didn't know that he fell in there because, this was a
That
while
is not
back.
funny.
No, they did. They didn't know that he fell in there because there was no security cameras back then, and they actually distilled the whiskey.
Yeah.
And they said it was like a really full-bodied bourbon when it came out.
Can you stop? And didn't you say a company's name in there? That's terrible. You can wait.
Well, they tell that story. They tell that story on the tour.
Terrible.
They do.
That is so wrong.
That's funny, but yeah.
Okay.
For like 5 seconds, I felt sorry.
All right. Well, we'll on that note, we will wrap it up. Luke, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Santa Fe Boutique Wines and our website, Luke at SantaFeBoutiqueWines.com.
All right, Andrew.
You can find me at Bourbon's Bistro Friday nights.
All right.
Beautiful.
Della.
You can find me on Untapped and 6 Feet of and
Oh, wow. I think she has a seatbelt on her chair there, too. You need to put that on. You need to put your seatbelt on, Della, before you fall. I guess it's like a gym bag or something around your desk chair there, but it looks like a seatbelt because
That's
it's
what I
diagonal.
thought, too.
Yeah.
It's not. That's my.
Della, please put your seatbelt on before you get hurt.
Okay,
We got another
seatbelt
show
strapped
to do.
in. You
All
can find me on Untapped and Instagram at 6 Feet of Dynamite.
All right. Gail the Snail.
You guys can find me on Instagram at gail.the.snail.
All right. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website at steveakeley.com. We've also got the company website, and that's abvnetwork.com. You want to check that out because everything that we do is out there. So check out abvnetwork.com. You can find our shows, our blogs, and so much more. Gail, anything else to say before we get out of here?
Yeah. Hey, friends. If you could please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. Awesome sauce. It really helps us in marketing the show, and your feedback really helps motivate us, and it gives the show direction. So, if you like what we are doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page as well at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right. Excellent. Well, good job today, guys. And, of course, for our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See you.
Ciao.
Ooh, bye.
Bye.
Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.